Hello everyone, this is Freya and welcome to a new episode of A Discovery of Nordic Witchcraft. In this episode we are going to talk about how to balance nature and technology.
Morgonen gryr, de djupa skogarna tystnar. Natthimlen glittrar, dimman ligger till. Morgonen gryr, de djupa skogarna tystnar. Natthimlen glittrar, dimman ligger till. Morgonen gryr, de djupa skogarna tystnar. Natthimlen glittrar.
Nature is like a fire lit to warm us, too near and we can burn ourselves, and too far away and we won't get the warmth needed. The fire we tamed, the tools we built, the pottery we made, the clothes we made, enabled us to survive better in nature than other animals. Now that we are so used to living that comfortable life, we think living in nature will be so cozy, awesome. But when you try to live in nature without a single bit of technology, like the Sami people have done up here since time immemorial, you would then know we need to connect with nature, not to exploit it. As our lives become increasingly high-tech, we need to actively connect with the land, or we could become alienated from nature altogether. We live in an ever-evolving world and rely a huge amount on our phones, not just socially, but for business too. Probably since the first caveman hit the first animal or human competitor over the head with a club, we have come to love our tools. We have learned to believe that our tools, technologies, will save us and get rid of our opponents. Our technologies have allowed us to extract ourselves from the risks of the natural world. Reality is technology by definition is a way of doing. Nature is a way of being. A way of doing destroys as it creates. This is the fallout of humanity trying to exert far too much control over the environment. In many places here in Norrland, we see that strong forces want to seize large natural areas for the wind power industry. Ancient reindeer migration routes disrupted by roads, dams, and now wind farms. On the routes the reindeer have wandered since time immemorial, there are plans to build huge large wind turbines with a network of roads, ditches and power lines. Jobs, the green shift and industrial establishment are used as arguments as a leverage to legitimize the development of wind power plants. These huge companies have rung doors, lured Sami people with millions, funds and money to convince them. I thought wind power was good. But now I know better. You cannot ask people to sell their heritage. We have the moral duty to leave nature in the way we inherited it to those who come after us. And technology should be seen as a tool, not the solution. These wind farms will lead to an insane industrialization of Norway's second largest wilderness area. Wind power is often regarded as renewable energy, but it has large costs in the form of nature distraction and land use. Wind power development poses a threat to the reindeer husbandry industry. You see, I live in Sápmi, and I live in close contact with many Sami people whom I consider my most beloved friends. So I know for a fact reindeer have different psychological needs for different seasons and therefore need different types of landscapes in an annual cycle. Food can be scarce up here in the Arctic winter, so reindeer must keep moving to find enough. In spring, pregnant reindeer congregate for weeks in calving grounds to give birth and nurture their newly borns. When summer arrives and the snow melts, mosquitoes, flies and insects in general swarm in huge numbers. The insects burrow into the skin of reindeer and agitate them, forcing them to move into the mountains or to the coast where the air is cooler and the winds stronger. This means that the reindeer instinctively follow their traditional migrations. Various interventions and disturbances leave the reindeer barely getting any rest in any season, and the stay within each of the seasonal pastures is therefore shortened. In several places here in Norway, reindeer were so frightened by the sound of the wind turbines and broke out of the fences. With the advent of trains and cars, roads and railways were built across our north, slicing through some of the remaining migration routes and forcing reindeer to cross and risk collision that could kill them and the driver. Fences were built by the Sami to avoid these types of accidents. Reindeer live areas where it sees wind farms. In a relatively small amount of time, reindeer have lost access to large grazing areas, and many indigenous Sami reindeer herders are now forced to buy feed to help the animals survive. We are not the only living thing on this planet, but we act like everything is here for us first and foremost. We have lost touch with sleeping on the dirt, walking around naked in the rain and eating uncooked food. We lost touch with communicable disease and parasites. We lost touch with freezing to death in the winter and being hot in the summer. We lost touch with privation from living in places where food was not widely available during all times of the year. You see, in my very humble opinion, technology is a good slave, but a very bad master. Technology is the product of our intelligence. Technology has changed the world, though many don't truly know what technology is. Technology is the wheel, carts, and even basic housing. Technology is the preparation of food and the way you drink your water. If you use your brain to create something, that thing is technology. In essence, technology is a tool which in the hands of someone who knows how to use it well, someone with a heart, can be indeed used to enhance work and effort, and can be used to touch the lives of people and the land for the better. All in all, I believe technology is not to blame. People are to blame for the abuse, misuse, or any negatives that are associated with technology. Just like a knife is a tool to do some good works that depend on using one. It is when we allow technology to leave its terrain, the world of doing, and entering nature's terrain, the world of being, that things start to go wrong. It is when we allow technology to go inside our body and souls, where its target is not being a tool in our hands anymore, but we let it aim at our human blood and emotions, so becoming the master. I can guarantee you that technology will be successful in that. When this happens, our world shrinks. In the era of nature apps or a back to nature video game, a scene from a movie I love came to my mind. In Federico Fellini's very fine film La Dolce Vita, there is a character who is highly educated. High tech is just one small part of being highly educated. Instead of listening to the birds chirping and twittering outside his home, he listened to a tape recording of bird sounds. The man commits suicide and also takes his children with him in the movie. This is an example of technology taking a person away from connection with nature. However, he could have opened his living room window and listened to the real life birds outside. Well, he didn't. He chose not to do that. Technology can either facilitate or vitiate connection with nature. That man in the movie made technology the master. Reality is technology has given us more time, but the line between usefulness and overuse is thin and subtle. How are you gonna use your time? You see, we're all indigenous to planet Earth, but we have forgotten. Protecting the land against the abuse of technology is not an intellectual exercise pertaining to some of us. It is a sacred duty to all of us. In the old days, Sami people used to leave a gift to the windman if the wind did not blow as desired. In doing so, asking the wind for help. This was how they used the wind as a tool. This is how they connected with the wind without exploiting it. Now, I do not expect huge corporations who can sense and feel and channel and summon only the energy of profit to do this. But we need to rethink our economic operating system and consider less exploitative ways to live. Unless you change the way you live, unless we realize that we have to live with the land, we won't understand that the land is not for plundering, it is there to sustain life. But no, what do humans do? Having plundered and destroyed the land, they move off somewhere else and cause the same kind of mayhem in a different place without restoring the earth to its natural state. This is so regressive. You see, everything that we do shares in the ongoing creation of our universe. So treat your relationship with the land like a ceremony. Thank you so very much for watching this video. Thanks for spending some of your time here with me today. It's been truly appreciated, and I'll see you all in my next video. Tack så mycket. Hej då!